Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 51 of the Matt and John Mate, a podcast. This is going to be, surprise, surprise, sports heavy this week. A lot of sports news, some breaking news as we record this on Friday. Regarding baseball, we have some NFL news with our old friend Antonio Brown. We're going to have some hockey predictions as later tonight, or actually probably as you're listening to this, the first round of the qualifying round is taking place as we speak, or as tomorrow, as we record this, obviously. So our thoughts about that, and then the other topics as well. As always, the last time on this show, and we're going to get into this before we get into some MLB news.
Sorry.
The computer wants to speak.
Yeah.
Last thing on this show is the NXT AEW ratings, because me and John discussed last night, and he had an idea, and we're going to try it. Of instead of doing our live reaction to AEW and NXT right after both shows on Wednesday, we're going to try a dedicated wrestling show on Thursday. That's going to be live streamed.
Yeah.
So Thursday night. That way both of us can
Because I've definitely have felt this way. I'm not sure if you felt the same. It's just I want us to have a more in-depth talk on both shows, and not just you just talking just strictly by yourself on one show, and me for Dynamite.
I do like not having to keep eyes on both.
Right. So
I'm missing stuff. Yeah.
Right. So for the time being, we're definitely are going to be giving thorough reviews of both NXT and also Diamond and also AEW Dynamite, but also we're gonna be talking pretty much everything that is going to be going on in the world of professional wrestling, whether it's rumors, breaking news, ratings talk, whatever that's going to be on the agenda for the foreseeable future, and we'll kind of see how this goes. I just feel like it's just going to go better and more efficient, rather than us going on live right after, and just not doing as good as I think
we want to.
Yeah. So yeah. Stay tuned for that. We are not entirely sure about a set time yet, as we are currently recording here, but we're definitely are going to be doing it sometime on Thursday night. So stay tuned for that.
Yep. So that's that news on our end. But getting into the news on baseball's end, we pretty much a couple minutes before we went on the air, we record.
Absolutely perfect timing by
yeah. It's not like all the time when stuff comes after we record or the day after. God. So by the time you listen to
that drives me insane too. I was like, damn it, we literally just started recording, or just finished, and it just.
Jeff Passan on Twitter. I'm gonna follow. I don't know why I haven't followed him. Heyman and Bob Meineke. What the hell am I doing? The MLB insider for ESPN, ESPN.com, gave a report, breaking news that, and I quote here, MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred told MLBPA Executive Director Tony Clark on Friday that if the sport doesn't do a better job of managing the coronavirus, it can shut down for the season. And he links his story to ESPN. He also goes on here in the tweet. This weekend is seen as a crucial juncture for the sport, both in terms of hoping for a limited positive test and in players abiding by protocols. Local health officials have been troubled by the lack of mask wearing, high-fiving, and spitting by players, according to sources. The conversation between Manfred and Clark was not a threat, but a reality check that was relayed to players and has spread quickly among them. All of us, need to clean this up, because if we don't, Major League Baseball in 2020 is going to be over. So that's the end of that. And
which, by the way, I'm fully expecting them to pretty much shut down because as of on Friday night, July 31st, we have had, I believe it's been 18 Miami Marlins who have tested positive, two St. Louis Cardinals who have also tested positive, and you have had teams such as Philadelphia who had to pretty much quarantine. But the good news for them is everyone has tested negative for that. But it's just too hard to freaking do this without the players being in like central locations like what the NHL and what the NBA is currently doing, and to this point it's been perfectly safe just because everyone is confined into these two spaces. So as long as the virus is staying out, they are perfectly fine. The problem is, for baseball, they aren't doing that. So it's much easier to catch the virus. But man, I'm not sure if you heard about this as it concerns with the Marlins. Did you read the report that supposedly that a few of their players were at some Atlanta strip club or something?
I didn't hear that.
Okay, yeah, like there was a story about that. I'm not sure if that is true or not, but I did see something about that. I think it was on like Tuesday or possibly on Wednesday that I read that, which would kind of make sense as to how that virus just spread like freaking wildfire. But at the same time too, they are in Florida, which is the biggest hotspots for COVID right now, outside of Arizona and also Texas. So it's a big problem right now, and in baseball they might not have any other choice but to shut everything down.
Jeff Prasad also tweeted, and I retweeted all these on our Twitter page, so they're there too, and for reference. And the latest tweet, this was as of now 53 minutes ago, so this was about 5:45 p.m. on Friday, because the latest report from the league and union on coronavirus testing: 29 positive tests through Thursday, July 30th. 21 from the Marlins. The other 8 include 2 players, 1 player at an alternate site. I had too many syllables there, and 5 staff members. So there was 29 of 11,895 samples, which is 0.2%, have been positive. Says here, 20 positives for players and 9 were staff members. The 21 of the 29 were from a single MLB club, the Marlins. So the total number of total number of samples collected and tested have been 40,783. 58 of these samples, which is 0.1% of the new positives. 52 of the 58 positives have been players, and 16 have been staff members. 19 different clubs have had a covered individual test positive during monitoring testing. So it's been a small amount, but when you have one team basically get like the whole roster with 30 men are on a roster now is expanded, right? Something like that.
Yeah, so
when,
our rosters, it's 30 now,
Yeah.
instead of the traditional.
So
25.
when you have pretty much all your team or active roster have it, I know it just does not look good, even though it's a small portion. But you have the Marlins, it was the Phillies and Yankees series that was delayed, postponed.
Yeah. So basically, they
Yeah.
pretty much canceled all of those games until every single one of the Philadelphia Phillies gets completely tested and they get their results. And same thing is happening. Same thing is currently happening with St. Louis and Milwaukee, which I believe Jeff also tweeted earlier today that they're going to be canceling games for on Friday and Saturday, and they're scheduled to do a Sunday double header, which by the way, those two games are going to be only going to be 7-inning games, which the owners and the players agreed upon for those rules for this shortened season. So a lot of moving parts here.
It just sounds like a giant cluster.
Yep.
Because you don't have. I wouldn't say I'm not surprised that it's like this, but well,
I'm not like
I'm not, but I can't believe it's when this crazy.
Well, like they should have known by not doing any sort
right.
of hub cities, like and how smart was it for both hockey and for basketball to realize we need to be in central locations where basically once you enter you cannot leave. Like that was the absolute most efficient way to pretty much protect everyone, and until this point it has worked fine. Now if somehow COVID gets in those hub cities, then everyone is screwed.
Yeah, trace contact everyone.
Yeah, like that's the only bad thing. But I feel like that's really the only way that you can possibly do this, which it might force that to be a possibility for football, but I'm not exactly sure how they would do that. Just because there are just so many players, and how would you be able to exactly coordinate all that? But and when I start thinking about the NFL and college football, I really just don't know how they're going to do this if a Major League Baseball is having this hard.
Yeah. And if the NFL was trying to get fans in some form, with
which all indications are they have every intention to. Hell, I was telling you before we started here that Ohio State is planning on having fans in their at their home games of crowd capacity be between 10,000 and 20,000 fans, which I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of surprised by that. Just with everything going on, but since those stadiums are so huge, it might be possible to get away with that, but
I don't know how you space it out, but that you can probably get away, but as soon as somebody that was at one of those games comes down with it, oh man,
exactly,
crap is gonna hit the fan.
Exactly, which is why
with NFL, with you don't have this on college campuses,
no.
Or at least in the stadium, but with alcohol, and you get those, you're gonna get those drunk. I think we mentioned it before. I mentioned it with somebody. You're gonna alcohol.
Here,
Was it here? Yeah. You're gonna get alcohol, and you're gonna tell me somebody who's drinking alcohol, which to drink, you're not gonna have a mask on or up close. And if you get somebody really, really, wasted, and some usher or some security says, "Sir, you're not drinking or whatever. Put your mask on." They're going to be kicked out, and again, and when somebody in an NFL crowd, if there's crowds, gets has the COVID. I don't know why I said the COVID, but it's going to be the that egg on their face. The NFL, it's gonna look bad. And so far, I haven't really watched NBA, so I don't want to really comment on them. But in the NHL, like we said, has been doing it great. Watching those games, the arenas look great. They had those LED screens and covered up the seats, and they have the crowd noise, which it's kind of a good ambient noise there.
Yeah.
And nobody's really gotten sick at all in the NHL. What was it? They recorded no positive cases.
Same thing, and same thing with the NBA too. Zero cases.
Which you know what? It's we see. It's always to me was counterintuitive when you think, okay, everybody's in one place. How is nobody going to get sick?
Well,
but it's great. It works. But nobody can go anywhere.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And that's the thing.
It seems counterintuitive,
but
in a way.
But I think that's probably. I mean, as of now, is the best way to, basically, to try and avoid all of this until they finally get a functioning vaccine for this.
Yeah. The counterpoint, my point. It seems counterintuitive, but at the same time, we did that with a quarantine that everybody was basically not going anywhere initially. So, excuse me, when you and me actually came back into persons more so, we were okay because we didn't go anywhere. And I don't think any of us contracted anything.
No. Hell, even when I went back into work, like I was there for a good 5 days, and there was no one around me. I hand sanitized everything that I freaking touched. It just I've gone extra miles to try and protect myself from those things, just because just being a lot more careful there. But as for baseball, this seems to be getting a lot worse than any signs of it getting any better. And I will be shocked if we come here by next week, and if we still have any sort of baseball, just because with those cases continue to rise, and which is causing more and more games to be postponed, which is already tough as it is with a shortened 60 game season.
Yeah, and like if you like you were mentioning, if you do have delays and the schedule is contained within 60 games, how are you making these up? And you
Exactly.
have to use your off days, and there's a few and far between.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a
it's going to be very difficult, and until unless they have some sort of a backup plan, which I highly doubt, it's going to be very very hard. And speaking of COVID, as it concerns with the NFL, we are beginning to see, man, a lot of players who are opting out. I think like last check, there was at least 35 players who have given who have told their teams that they are not playing for this upcoming season, which I'm expecting that to be pretty substantial. But I believe that they only have until tomorrow, which is on Saturday, to have that notice, or they have to be in the full season without getting any sort of compensation or anything. So which I kind of expected. I mean, probably the most high profile thus far has been probably from a skills position has been Damian Williams of the Kansas City Chiefs. And I believe also from Kansas City, they also had their starting right guard. He opted out, and on the Patriots side, they had, I believe, at least 5 or 6 guys who have also opted out, which I believe at least 2 of them are current starters. So it's going to be hitting a lot of teams here. But until this point, no superstars have been opted out here.
Can I switch back to baseball for 1 second?
Yeah.
There's this tweet, I guess, from New York Daily News.
Mm-hmm.
That apparently, the Marlins are putting their 18 players with coronavirus on a bus from Philadelphia to Miami. So the people who have coronavirus are going to do a bus trip from Philly to Miami and not fly. Oh, that must suck.
Well, I mean, yeah, because how are they gonna let anyone
right? But still, that's the Rona trip. Oh my God!
Yeah,
that trip alone, like, anyways.
Yeah, well, but then that's at least a good 2-day commute there. I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
Yeah, but switch back to NFL. I mean, how many more players are we expecting to really opt out? Hard to say. I mean, it could be a ton more could come by tomorrow, but then again, maybe very few are just gonna say, hey, I want to play. So it's kind of like, you can't really fault anyone for opting out, or if they want to
similar
stay.
to baseball, minus a few star players.
Mm-hmm.
People they want to play.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be interesting to see if it happens with baseball too.
Mm-hmm.
Once this happens, more so with baseball. But if the NFL gets to the level of MLB,
Right.
how many people come out either after the season or during the season, and you hear stories of, I regretted not opting out. That's what I'm going to be curious about. If it gets that.
I'm sure that it's going to happen. I mean, if baseball is having these issues, football is going to be a lot worse, just because there are so many more people.
I still, the hub city for the NFL, I just don't know how.
I don't know how they would exactly do that, just because there is just so
the
many
game
more
the schedule for the games.
Yeah.
Everybody's at either 1, 4. You would, well, Yeah, you can't with one field with well, obviously, and this is I'm talking obvious here, but like with hockey, you can do every other day.
Less players too.
Less
players.
Less players. Playoffs, last teams. Not by much, but you only have. You can have four games a day or whatever.
Yeah.
2.5 hours, and you got the TV all covered, and everybody can watch. But with football, you would have not everybody. You can't have everybody play on a Sunday. You could have your Sunday night. See, I don't know how that would work. You would have to play on a Saturday.
Yeah.
You would have to have, but still. If you have, let's say, all the AFC teams in one city, you would have to play over a week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, or something. Even maybe
half the teams are a quarter of them, probably a quarter of them on say a Thursday night, a quarter on Sunday, and probably another quarter on like Monday night. I mean, like that would be.
You have 2 on Monday night. Normally, you have the doubleheader on Monday night. You can probably maybe do a doubleheader on Sunday with any West Coast team. You have you have the 1:00 game on Sunday, 4:15 or 4:30 game on Sunday.
But at the same time, too, though. Think about it from this end because there is like 4 games where the AFC and the NFC face each other.
That is true.
So you probably are going to have to swap
you're screwed.
Hub cities and on top of that, if you are doing say 3 or 4 of those, chances are you probably are playing other teams from the other hub city in the same conference.
Unless you get.
I
don't know. Unless you don't play those games, and it's a reduce. Do you reduce schedule it?
Honestly, I think what's going to end up happening, they're going to be pushing everything back. I think they're going to be pushing the season back until at least November, maybe December, because we are going to get a good idea how this is going to really work once actual training camp starts.
Which I think the beginning has started.
So basically, everyone is currently are getting tested, but I don't believe that they actually start any practices until for another 2 weeks. So probably in that time, and also, by the way, NFL has canceled all of NFL preseason, which is perfectly fine with me. So I think it'll be a good idea to have that 2 or 3 weeks, and if you find out that just too many guys are testing positive, then unfortunately you're going to have to make a really hard choice and say, you know what, we're going to have to push this back. And I think that's probably what's going to end up happening. And hopefully by late fall that we will have some form of a vaccine, because I believe now they are in the 3rd stage of testing right now for that vaccine. So hopefully by then, and if that is completely rolled out, which is a very big if at this point. So so good luck to the NFL as far as getting this figured out. And while we're on the topic of the NFL, our good buddy Antonio Brown is back in the news once again. So So today the NFL laid down for AB. He was punished by being suspended 8 games for of the
pretty much half the season,
for essentially half of the NFL
for a
season.
team.
Yeah, so pretty much whoever that he signs with, he will have to sit out the first 8 games, which I still is a freaking long shot, by the way. And like I even saw, I think it was this week where Lamar Jackson was campaigning to have him signed. I find it really hard to believe that ownership is ever going to sign off on that. He burned 3 teams within a span of 8 or like 9 months.
A blink of an eye, it seemed like.
Like, why should any other team think that their situation is going to be
I
any
don't
different?
see Harbaugh saying, "Yeah, we want that,"
No.
like dealing with that.
Ownership too. Their whole structure is basically what the Steelers structure is. It's complete stability from top to bottom.
Yep.
If you can't work it out in Pittsburgh, or even with the Patriots and how they keep everything so buttoned down over there, how are you going to handle it there?
I can already see Antonio Brown, if he went to Baltimore, already see he's somehow a quote gets out that he complains that Lamar Jackson runs the ball too much and doesn't throw into him.
Exactly.
I can already see that unless Jackson, changes.
Which like, by the way,
Maybe that's an extreme case.
Well, and two, and this is zero disrespect to him. He's not a great pocket passer either. Like everything, essentially that he has been really successful at has been inside of the hash marks. But if you recall, against Tennessee, they were forcing him to stay in the pocket and throw outside of that. And as you could see, he really struggled. I'm not so sure how much patience that AB is going to have with him. On top of that, they do not force feed anything to any particular player. I mean, hell, here in freaking Pittsburgh, Ben forced so many balls to him just to appease him, and like, by God, like, it somehow Tomlin and company made it work for as long as it could.
And to play somewhat devil's advocate here and to somewhat defend AB a little bit somehow.
Mm-hmm.
He had the skill to, most of the time, more than not, depending on obviously the throw, make the play. Not taking away
Which he
anything
would,
about his skill on the football field. I mean, we missed that here, obviously. When you take that skill away from your team,
right.
It's sorely missed. But at the same time, the off the field stuff, like, it comes to time you have to weigh the drama versus the performance. And after that last game, when he didn't even dress and he walked off, and all the crap really hit the fan after that.
Right.
And that was his last game. I believe that was his last game as a Steeler,
right,
if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Like,
it's not worth the talent. I mean,
especially now when you like outside of him and like Bell, who by the way is getting a really rude awakening as to how things work outside of the consistency with the Steelers management and coaching.
I don't want to say maybe it's blinded by because it
greed.
No. What I'm trying to say is maybe I have the home blinders on, and already really know him obviously when he played, but it just feels like outside he's in the Jets. Maybe I'm forgetting that, like, I feel like his name wasn't really brought up as much.
Because now his whole thing was about getting paid, and two,
and he's playing for the Jets.
And he's playing for the freaking Jets, who are a terrible team. Whereas here, he was a consistent All-Pro in playing with arguably the most prestigious NFL franchise. Like it's a completely different environment.
You were winning.
Yep.
Consistently, and it all comes down to money. It always does with everybody. You had 3 Bs, him, Ben, and Brown.
Yep.
At one time, and it's a shame that we didn't.
Martavius too. Yep. Martavius Bryant. Yep.
Yeah, it's a shame that we didn't win with them. But at the same time, there was injuries, and the defense wasn't what it used to be.
Defense was just a train wreck, man.
Everything did not come together with all those 3, that trio in their prime of that trio.
Well, and to especially with those teams, there was just so much just constant drama and distractions, which is so apparent. Whereas currently, you don't hear a goddamn thing. Like, everyone.
The only distraction is Cam Hayward worried about contract negotiations, which is normal.
Which is normal, and I am not even concerned about that. They're going to get a contract done. It's just going to be them.
How much money and how long?
Right, exactly. So I'm not concerned.
But you don't see Cam Hayward. He's a respectable guy. You hear no bad things about the guy. He's not going to go and blabber and just shit talk on people and say, well, the organization says this is crap.
I can't tell you, man, how many times with the stuff with AB and with Bell, they were calling Ben racist and everything, and calling everyone in the Steelers organization racist and everything. I'm just like, okay, can we actually talk about some facts and not some and not some like made up shit that really doesn't make any sense, especially too when you have heard so many of Ben's ex teammates who have said he is nothing like that. So it's very annoying. But as far as AB is concerned, Matt, whoever signs him,
I hope nobody does, because I don't want to hear about it.
Wait. If he signs somewhere, we're going to be hearing about it every single day.
I just don't. Happen. I don't. If I'm somebody, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna sign this person, but I'm wasting money because I can't use them for half the season. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, maybe it could be a equivalent of a trade deadline deal when they come back, but you're gonna have. Let's say he doesn't do anything bad through the season, right? Nothing outrageous.
Which is a big if.
If, right? A hypothetical.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to have that media circus definitely in the beginning. Do you want that? I don't want that.
And I guarantee you with Baltimore, they are not going to want to answer questions every single day because as we saw with the Patriots, that is exactly what happened. It was literally every single day, AB, because constantly he was putting himself out there in the freaking news, whether it was texting his freaking accuser, and with his freaking attorney on top of that. It's just like he's just a magnet for controversy, and like he loves being in the spotlight.
Yep.
And it's a major problem. So then two other bits of NFL news here, Matt. So I'm not sure if you saw the NFL top 100 list that the players decide on.
A little bit. I really didn't get into it.
Yeah, some of this maybe I'm being a little bit of a homer, but how is there 83 better players than Cam Hayward? He was ranked 84. Minka, he was ranked 35, and TJ Watt, he was ranked 25. which, I mean, like that was kind of scratching. That was kind of scratching my head. But the absolute number one thing though was Patrick Mahomes was ranked. He was ranked number 3.
No, yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
Where
and
somehow Lamar Jackson was ranked first. Actually, no. I think actually Mahomes. I believe he was 4. Let me pull this up real quick just so that I'm getting that right.
I don't see.
Yep. He is like number 4.
Who's top 5?
Okay, let me pull that up really quick here.
Oh, I thought you had the.
No, okay. There we go. All right. So like number 1 is Lamar Jackson. Number 2 is Russell Wilson, and like number 3 is Aaron Donald, which
Russell Wilson number 2
was number 2. If we're talking just strictly about the regular season, I can see that. But if we're talking about the season in totality, just with his postseason alone, with like Mahomes, who had arguably one of the best quarterback played postseasons in NFL history, this is just really mind blowing to me. I mean, and as far as it goes with Jackson, he was NFL MVP and all, but he played terrible in the postseason, where that is where things really matter, and he came up really short. Whereas in Patrick, he came up really damn big. So I just did not quite understand that, but we should also keep this in mind as well. This is a list voted on by the NFL players, and not by executives or the NFL media. So that's something to just keep in mind there.
Okay, I can see Russell. He did have a good season.
And like he did. I mean, like, and that's not saying bad about him, but I think we should definitely include how great that Patrick was in the freaking postseason. He was really damn good. I mean, just look at all 3 of his postseason games. Like, it just, to me, that should outweigh a lot of what happened in the regular season here, and I feel that's why he should definitely be at least at the very top. Everyone else you can kind of interchange.
I can see Wilson. That I feel like I don't remember his season, but I feel like definitely Mahomes. You could put maybe Jackson, Wilson, 2-3 maybe. Mm-hmm. Aaron Donald, he's up there, top 5. Mm-hmm. It's all debate. I don't know.
Yep.
Who's number? I want to see who 100 is. Wait a minute, it'd be hilarious. Levante David. Well, yeah. So I don't. That's all. Almost everything's subjective. I would think Mahomes postseason accomplishment and what he did should edge out
a lot of these guys here, like
Lamar Jackson.
Aaron Donald too. I mean, like, and like his team, they didn't even like make the postseason this year. So it's
he's still good at his position.
I mean, like, still by far the best defensive tackle in the game. But at the same point as well, should he be over Patty Mahomes. I would really disagree with that. And also, Matt, speaking of him, did you also hear that he is now a minority owner of the Kansas City
Yes.
Royals now, which I believe he is. I think he's the youngest like a minority owner ever.
I believe it.
Yeah. So like and to after that huge contract that he signed, I think he can probably afford some of that. So
what his percentages in that team?
I would imagine it's probably
less than 50.
Well, yeah.
Let me see.
Would imagine it's probably pretty.
Even purchasing 1% of the Royals assumes. Wait a minute. Mahomes and buy a lower post will cost the Chiefs quarterback around $10 million, which is significant. That doesn't help me. Man, we're looking at, but I mean, good for him. I mean, that's he's investing his money because eventually, I mean, obviously, if you're getting money coming in, you're not just buying it and that's it.
No.
Mahomes signing to do big. I'm trying to read this here. And if anybody doesn't know, Mahomes' father Pat played 11 years as a pitcher in the major leagues.
Yeah.
It's not like a stretch that he is now in the baseball.
Well, hell, I mean, like he even said that his dad said like up until he went into college, he fully expected his son to go into baseball, but obviously he was just so much better at football that he took up that. So man, that was very pretty much very impressive to say the least.
Yeah. So the group owning the Royals says here over 20 investors with like local ties. Would cost like 1% of Royals would cost around, it says $10 million. Made because he's made slightly more. It says here, I guess he made slightly more than $13 million over his career. So that's a big chunk of change. But that with that money's going in. I mean, okay, you spend $10 million, you still got $3 million in the bank. I think you're right. Okay, but that's an investment there. We'll see what happens. Hopefully that it didn't invest too much and something happens. I guess the numbers of how much he owned are not really public right now.
No.
Maybe down the line. I don't know. So I guess he's gonna get the money. It's invested in the Royals. So
Yep.
I mean that at least he's investing and not spending. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. And some other last bit of NFL talk here, Matt. We also got our Monday Night Football booth has been decided upon. So for the upcoming season, when things are back, Steve Levy, Brian Greasy, and also Louis Riddick are going to be your main Monday Night Football broadcast team. Any thoughts on that, there, Matt?
I obviously know Steve Levy. Off the top of my head, at least name alone, I don't know the other two. I probably know him to see him. Louis
Riddick, he's a Lincoln Pitt alum. I should mention that. He's also he's been a former executive, former cornerback from from the Raiders, and I believe also
That's right, yeah.
with the Cleveland Browns. And as far
that name sounded familiar, but I can't pull a name.
Right. And also Brian Garisi. He played in the NFL with the Broncos, with the Dolphins, I want to say as well, and he's been mostly doing college football games off the top of my head, but as for this season, that's going to change, and I'm just so glad no more Booger McFarland. Like you truly never knew what he was going to say on a freaking weekend and week out basis. It was.
Oh, you knew he would say the obvious. He was a John Madden.
Oh, or a Tim McCarver sort.
Tim McCarver, yeah. But I like Steve Levy. I know if he is called
college football,
some hockey.
I'm like him. He was calling some XFL games too on before.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. He did call that.
Yeah.
He did
college football too.
He did hockey back in the day when ESPN. He's good. He's got a good excitement.
Mm-hmm.
Good voice. It's.
Mm-hmm.
I have no problems with him.
I'm still the man. I still can't believe that they never ESPN. Why they did not just retain? Why did they did not just retain Mike Tirico?
Was that his choice to leave, or was it?
I'm not entirely sure, but as now he's over at
NBC.
At NBC,
yeah,
which
he does a fantastic job.
Which he's probably is going to be Al Michaels' successor there because to me he is probably the best. He's probably the best.
He's so good.
National. For the national play-by-play. I mean, probably the only other guy who just for me personally, Doc Emmerich is still my absolute favorite.
For hockey.
For hockey, is still my absolute favorite guy.
There was somebody else that did hockey. He's the voice.
Gary Thorne.
Gary Thorne. He's another one.
Gary Thorne. Oh, and also too, Gus Johnson. I love Gus Johnson. That dude just has so much energy and so much excitement. It's just that's been a spot where ESPN has really
their Monday Night Football booth just collapsed.
Yeah, they have been struggling just to find who could take that spot because they've gone through.
It seems like every year somebody.
Yeah, because I think the year before that, I think they had what's his name? He calls baseball a lot. I forget his name, but he was with some John Gruden. Yeah, I forget his name, but it's just like they need to get some stability there. Hopefully, Steve Levy can finally give it.
Yeah, to the last guy was a Testeroni or whatever.
Yeah, which he got a lot of hate online because I saw every single week.
I saw he just seemed like he didn't have any. That other guy, it's like no personality, it's just no excitement.
No.
It didn't jive. But
no, it just didn't work. And when you don't have Mike Tirico as your main guy, it's really hard to.
He's got that soothing voice.
That's why he has so much charisma and everything.
When I watch golf on NBC, they do stuff, and he does like the interview, and he introduces you to like the show,
right,
to the tournament, and he does the interviews. It's so good. To me, he's a Jim Nance, with that voice that like Jim Nance always does the Masters because it's on CBS. He has the tradition like any other Masters.
And,
that's a Mike Tirico. He can,
like I tell you, him.
He talks. He paints pictures with words.
And then speaking of like Jim Nantz, him and
Tony
Romo are the by far the best commentator tandem.
Yep.
Bar none. Tony has so much energy, has so much charisma.
How many times has he predicted the play? Like, they're gonna run the ball on the right side here, and it happens.
Yep, it's just like and two. He was up because I believe ESPN tried to get him, and then
CBS like
no. CBS just brought out the freaking checkbook, and I think he is making at least $25 or $30 million for the next 10 years or something like that.
Sitting watching football. How can you not?
He's making more than what he was making when he was playing.
Yeah, I would not lose. Like, he is very talented. Like, honestly, when you get somebody, a football player, everybody's skeptical at first. But he just blew out of the water.
He took it right from
him
the very.
Him and Nance, just the chemistry between those two is good. Nance has the voice. Tony's got the insight and incredible play-by-play. Like when the Steelers play on CBS and we get them, it's like boom.
I'm just so glad freaking that freaking Phil Simms is just gone. Like he.
He's in the studio.
Just keep him there. Like, just Phil Simms just drove me absolutely nuts. Like, I mean, and for every single Steeler fan, they felt the exact same way. Like, and even if you don't love Tony Romo, you have to at least respect how much energy and how much knowledge that he has of the game. Like,
he has a great personality. Like he's like, it's weird. Like, he can make jokes. They're not like extremely corny. Yeah. Like, but they're good. They're funny. It's also lighthearted.
Also, too, he is really honest because like he'll like if something is like sort of touchy. He'll just say something.
He'll go like, "Why are they doing this?"
Yeah, I was like, "Yeah, like
what are they doing, Jim?"
Yeah. In which I freaking love that because then it's not insulting our intelligence and trying to freaking sugarcoat.
Because he usually says stuff that we are thinking.
Exactly.
Like, what are they doing this? And he says it.
Yep.
And it's great. And he gives his opinion, but he's not overly like just slamming him, but he's just constructive criticism.
Absolutely.
Even though he might want to say more stuff, but he's like, I don't know, Jim. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's enjoy watching those games with him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So then our last piece of football talk here, Matt. We had.
I thought that was it.
No,
I thought you said
college football here.
College football. The bait and switch.
Yeah.
Lies.
So for this, we had announced this week, Matt, that the ACC, they are only doing strictly conference games for the upcoming 2020 season. And unfortunately for Pitt, guess who they have to play now, Matt? The Clemson Tigers have now been added to
they switch.
Yeah,
I missed that. Don't they have to play Notre Dame too?
Yep, they also have to play them as well. So that's happening because I believe actually that for the season that essentially Notre Dame is going to be part of the ACC since obviously every single conference is going to be doing strictly conference games. So I kind of saw this coming. I mean, like, once you saw other conferences, other smaller conferences were going to be essentially canceling any sort of non-conference games, the writing was essentially on the wall there. Um so there will not be 10 instead of only 8 conference games. So that was made official. We're going to see. I mean, if we even have any football in general, but that's currently where things are going.
Pit
with
schedule. That's right.
right, yeah.
At home, Louisville, NC State, Northern Dame,
Mm-hmm.
Syracuse, Virginia Tech, and away at Boston College, at Clemson, Florida State, Georgia Tech, Miami. Ha!
The only good thing though is for any year, this is the perfect year for Pitt to have for them to have a really tough schedule, just because, Matt, they are loaded, especially on the defensive side of the ball, where they're probably are going to have at least 4, possibly 5 draft picks on that side of the ball there. So it's going to be interesting with that, but I mean, like, I'll just be happy if we have any football in general. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Okay, so they get rid of the division, so everybody's in one thing. So the title game will be the 2 teams with the highest win percentage in conference games. It'll be only one division, and Notre Dame will be eligible to win that.
Yeah.
So that's and not everybody's playing every team, obviously.
No.
So
There's
that's
way too many teams.
Yes. So that's gonna be very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with Clemson, the big teams here, Clemson, Florida State, the Miamis, the Notre Dames, the Virginia Techs, and everybody's. It's gonna be interesting. The ACC is tough. Everybody pretty much got playing big teams.
Yep.
So that's gonna be an interesting conference there.
Yeah, absolutely. So now we're going to switch gears here a little bit. We're going to talk a little NBA, and I just want to get your reaction to this. So Lewis Williams, who is a guard for. I want to make sure that I'm getting this right. Sorry, guys. My NBA knowledge isn't as vast as everything else. Okay, so he is a like 2 guard for the Clippers. So Lou Williams, he requested access to basically because I believe that his grandfather died, and so he got clearance to exit with the from the NBA bubble there.
Yep.
Well, come to find out, he visited an Atlanta strip club or a Orlando strip club to get some chicken wings. I'm like, what? And I wonder if that was all that it got there. So this was making the freaking rounds there. I was just like, oh man, like, this is so stereotypical too here, and I'm like, oh boy. But it turns out he's completely healthy, so he didn't
I don't care.
So he didn't.
He didn't. Wait. Is this fact? He went to the strip club?
Yeah, he went to. I forget. I mean, like, I'm not sure if it was in Orlando or Atlanta or whatever. But he apparently, I believe he said that he went to a particular strip club to get some chicken wings or something. And that was his excuse. While before or after that, he was going to his grandfather's
What's his name?
Lou Williams.
Oh, That's why I thought you said Lewis.
Oh, okay, yeah. Lou Williams.
Why is I'm trying to? I just want to see. Nobody's talking on really on the Twitter, but that's funny. It's stupid. Why would you, just because you're out of the bubble doesn't mean you can go out of the bubble, do out of bubble things. Williams. That's funny.
Oh yeah, he was getting all sorts of people clowning on him. I believe actually on NBA Countdown that Kenny
only
Smith,
like one news story on this.
yeah, that Kenny Smith said hey man, I have some specially ordered ordered chicken wings just for you, just so that you don't have to go starving. I'm like,
It was after the death of a friend's father, apparently.
okay,
Not even somebody.
okay, then I stand corrected then.
He must quarantine for 10 days. That's great. That's stupid. Why you do that? You can get wings anywhere. You could probably get wings in a bubble. You're rich. Why is there like one news story for that?
Yeah, like I'm seeing two here. One was done on Fox Business, and the other was and one was saying of Charles Barkley criticizing or
CBS Sports
like
here.
or making fun of him for
how Lou Williams visit for strip club wings and Marlins coach highlight strength at NBA bubble. But okay, but makes mistakes that should highlight the leagues they must figure out how to deal with. Oh yeah, but what happens if he did get contracted and he goes back into the bubble? And
he would have screwed everybody. That's what would have happened. Could you imagine if that was the reason why everyone got sick?
Went to strip club?
Because he went into a strip club to get some chicken wings. What can you say?
That's funny.
It's yeah. So yeah, that was the lone NBA story. But now we're going to get into some hockey talk here, Matt. So as we know,
hockey talk.
Saturday begins for the NHL coming back. There have been a few exhibition games. So Matt, I'll let you lead off here.
About what? Oh, for the playoffs?
Yeah, for the playoffs. And
okay, I guess you just want to give your or thoughts on each thing.
Yeah.
So let's start in the East here. Going number 5 against number 12 is the Penguins and the Canadiens.
I swear, if they lose to the Canadiens, I don't know how I will exactly react.
I know you're gonna be mad.
I will rage online. I will tweet mad. I will tweet mad tweets at like Jay Gore 492 online.
I will use hashtags, multiple hashtags. Hashtag upset. Hashtag
mad online.
Mad online.
Just literally at every facet of the game, we are clearly the better team. Penguins are so much better from the blue line to scoring to coaching, you name it. They are clearly a better team. There is zero excuse for this team to freaking lose here. So I'm praying to God.
Everybody's like, "Oh, here's your upset." Well, what the hell?
I'm praying to God that they take care of business here, which I do expect them to.
Yes.
And I'm assuming that you feel the same.
No, I think the Canadiens are going to win.
Fuck off.
Next, we got number 6 and 11, Hurricanes and the Rangers.
Hurricanes, Rangers. They were really struggling this season, and
I'll keep it top.
Taking chalk here. Yeah.
Islanders number 7 versus the Florida Panthers at number 10.
This one is a little bit of a toss up here.
I'm still going with the Islanders.
But I'm gonna lean to.
And it could be close, but I think the Islanders
could be close. But to Florida, they were really struggling before the pandemic started. So I'm going to stick with them.
And then the final one in the qualifying round is Toronto, an 8 seed, and the Blue Jackets, number 9.
Ooh, that's gonna be tough.
That is tough.
Honestly, I'm leaning with the Columbus
Blue
Jackets right now. I mean, like, as much talent as Toronto has, they have just been a freaking roller coaster all season long. And like, just based on how they were playing before the pandemic, even though it's been 4 or 5 months since then, I'm going to lean with Columbus here, man.
Toss up. I could see either way, but I could see maybe Toronto squeaking out a series win here.
By the way, are every single one of these games 5-game series?
Yep.
Okay.
So I see maybe Toronto squeaking by.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how far they get in the technically first round.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so say we win and everything's fine. Who would we face? Like, which seed?
Reseeded. I would think we face the 4 seed.
Okay. So
if because 4 would go to 5, 3 would go 6th, 2 7, 1 8.
Okay.
So if depending on who, and this is when the round robin comes into effect, of who we can face. I don't want like that the technically first round, but second round to be the freaking Capitals again. I don't want to face them in the second round again. Something different. But it could be Philadelphia.
Change it up, pal.
Change it up. So it's always the highest seed plays the lowest seed. On the West, number 5, Edmonton versus the Blackhawks, 12.
Ooh, honestly, I really don't know who to pick here, just because Edmonton has been really up and down, but so have the Chicago Blackhawks as well.
They've not played particularly well,
right?
Because if you go,
who are you feeling here?
Chicago.
I really don't know. Like, it might be a freaking coin flip here, Matt. Because Chicago has been really bad, and I was talking to my one friend who's also a Chicago Blackhawks fan, who has been really frustrated with this team. So, but I think that but I think that the collection of talent over in Chicago is way better than what's over there in Edmonton, because they just have Connor. They just have Connor McDavid.
They got that. They got Riley Sheehan, Ryan Eugene Hopkins, Leon Drysdale, left wing Tyler Ennis, James Neal.
I forgot he's signed.
They got all that defense. Mike Green is still Oscar Clefbaum, Adam Larson. I think they have a good young team in Edmonton. I think they will go by here. The Blackhawks. Let's see here. John Boonville, John Taves. They still have Alex Nylander, Brandon Saad. And you still got Patrick Kane. Oli Ma. That's right.
It's a very old team too.
Old team. Duncan Keith. I can see that they, Edmonton getting this win first out of this first round.
Yeah. But at the same time too,
they
really haven't been.
Yeah. This can be an upset.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah.
But I might be talking out my ass.
Yeah. I'm gonna lean towards some Chicago for now, but yeah, I really don't know.
I'll still go with Edmonton.
Right.
I feel like it's a similar situation with Toronto.
Yeah.
Then we got Predators at 6, Coyotes at 11.
Yeah. Nashville should win this. And two, I believe also with the Coyotes that their GM stepped down just for apparently no reason there. So I feel like that's going to be a little bit of a distraction for them. So I'm into just off of talent. I mean, clearly Nashville. They are just a far superior.
Yeah, they got Coyotes. They got Derek Stepan, some notable here. Taylor Hall,
Phil Kessel,
Michael Grabner.
It's a fast team. I can tell you that much.
Defense: Oliver Ekman Larson. They got Alex Goligoski. They got a good team. I don't know. I think the Predators. I think they're solid. I think they'll win there. Then we get the Canucks at 7 versus the Minnesota Wild.
Canucks for me. Minnesota. I feel like this is more of a rebuilding year for them, because
it looks like I'm just looking at
trying
to refresh who's playing. Canucks got a good young team. Who's played the Wild?
We acquired Jason Zucker from there. So
well, say the Wild. They got Galchenyuk, Mika Kudu, Eric Stahl.
Galchenyuk, was he?
Zach Parise. Yeah, Zach Parise is still a thing. He's 36 years old.
Thank God.
Matt Zuccarello.
Thank God we did not sign him.
Remember that? It was like that Parisi watch.
Oh my God! Like
Ever Ryan Suter. That was. I think this might be closer. A game this could be a close series, but I guess I'll go
Canucks here.
And then last but not least, the Flames and the Jets.
Flames and the Jets.
I'm leading Jets.
Yeah. I'll probably do the same as well.
That's on Calgary's team, because to me, Calgary was always like made the playoffs but never did anything.
No.
Who the hell do they have? Johnny Gaudreau. We got they have Milan Lucic.
Yeah,
I forgot all these people left. Margie Youngstone defense. Who they play? Oh, the Jets. I guess the Jets is another good up and coming team there. Look very young.
Right.
You have Cody Eakin, Mark Letestu, my boy, Matthew Peralt, left ring, right ring, Patrick Lane or whatever, Blake Willier. Looking defense. I got Hellebuck on goalie. I'll go Jets with a slight upside here, even though it's not. We could be totally wrong. This website here is Sporting News. Here they have the first round going, right? They have Bruins versus the Maple Leafs, Lightning versus Bruin. Are number 1 versus the Maple Leafs 8. They have all the favorites. Lightning number 2 versus the Islanders, Capitals versus the Hurricanes, and the Flyers versus the Penguins in that first round.
God.
And in the Western, they have Blues number 1 versus the Flames, number 8. Avalanche which is number 2 versus the Canucks at 7. Golden Knights at 3 versus the Preds 6, and the Dallas Stars 4 versus the Edmonton. Number 5. So pretty much this website has all the favorites winning. Some good matchups there. They don't go from that. So that would be interesting. That'd be fun first round if that happens.
Yep.
Based on this website.
Yep, and we shall be tuning in as well for that. All right, so the final thing that we want to cover here on a podcast for the final time, as we stated at the very top of the show, we're going to be doing strictly a professional wrestling podcast, whereas for this one we're going to be talking about essentially everything else. So AEW Dynamite and NXT ratings here, Matt. So in total viewers, AEW had 773,000 to NXT, which had 707,000, and in the all important 18 to 49 demo, AEW did a 0.30 to NXT, which did a 0.18, and AEW they were ranked 6th on cable to NXT, who were ranked 28th on cable, and from the ages of 12 to 34, AEW did a 0.19 to NXT, which did to NXT, which did a 0.09, and obviously on the 50 and over NXT outdid Dynamite, which they did a 0.37 to Dynamite, which only did a 0.27 here. Matt, were you was this kind of how you were expecting here?
I expected both shows to be closer, which NXT gained viewers.
Yeah.
AEW still won. That's fine. It was closer. It wasn't as much as a runaway there. I mean, 18, nothing different.
Yeah, 18 to 49 is still a pretty big problem, and honestly, young viewers in general for NXT is still a really big issue, but they are still really strong.
And we got the quarterlies.
This is we do actually.
Yeah, 411 Mania. I think I found.
Okay.
So quarter one was for AEW. The Inner Circle versus Best Friends, Jurassic Express, and Orange Cassidy did 718,000 viewers, 367 in the demo. NXT beat that with the opening of Io Shirai, Tegan Nox versus Dakota Kai and Candice LeRae with 853,000 viewers, 247 in the demo.
Oh wow.
Quarter two, we're gonna go out of the band. We're gonna rate all these. I don't care.
Yep. Go ahead, man.
Quarter two, end of the 10-man tag match, and Jon Moxley's interview, and beginning majority of Cody versus Warhorse, 721,000 viewers. So up slightly from the first quarter, up 3,000 says here, 358,000 the demo, which was down 9,000. Quarter two for NXT, and Cole, the Pat McAfee story recap, and Roderick Strong versus Johnny Gargano. That was 778,000. So that still beat.
So basically,
down. That was down 75,000, 248,000 in demo. That was up 1,000. So total viewers.
That second hour, AEW must have done some work then, because
We'll see.
Up until this point, you would think that NXT.
I laughed.
Their ass.
Raj Giri, Wrestling Inc., and I love Raj, but said AEW was going to pretty much beat in the beginning there, that first hour and everything, because they have all those names in that first thing. But everybody across the board was crapping on that first segment.
But like, just strictly on paper though, I would probably agree with them. But then everything happened.
But the match happened. And everybody online was pissed. Okay.
Yeah.
Quarter three for AEW is the end of the Cody Warhorse match, and then with formerly Zack Ryder debuting an Inner Circle interview. That went up 84,000 to 805 viewers, and up 48,000 in the demo to 406. Compare that quarter three, the end of the Strong Gargano match, Dakota Kai and Rhea Ripley promo. That was down 700 to 706,000 viewers, down 5,243. So I guess Zack Ryder's ratings.
I'm very interested to see what the MJF one, the MJF promo did. But yeah, continue.
Well, I kind of looked down. That's interesting.
Okay.
Boop 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 boop. The FTR contract signing in Dark Order versus Hangman Page and Omega did 832,000, up 27,000 from the previous quarter, and the demo was 423, up 17,000. Compare that quarter 4. Undisputed Era segment: Shotzi Blackheart and versus Mercedes Martinez. 703 viewers, down 3,000. The demo went down 9,000 to 5,000 total. Then quarter 5 for AEW. The end of the Omega Page Dark Order match. Post match, including FTR and Young Bucks. 878 thousand viewers, up 46, and the demo up 32,000 to 455. Quarter 5, oh boy, this is where I think it starts to turn here. Keith Lee promo with the Karen Cross stuff, and Imperium versus Everrise, 698 viewers, down 5,000. The demo went up 1,000 to 236. So it's starting the second hour is the turn, obviously. Quarter 6, Akira Shida versus Diamante and Vicky Guerrero and Nyla Rose interview. So the previous segment is 878. It goes down to 790, down 88,000, and the demo goes down 43,000 to 412. Quarter 6 was the Imperium Undisputed angle at the end. Bronson Reed video and interviews. 662 down 36,000, and the demo was down 10,000 to 26.
So both of them dropped.
Drop, yes. So here comes
MJF.
The MJF interview. Down 70,000 viewers.
Wow.
720. I am shocked by that.
Well,
and the demo down 30,000 to 382. We'll compare that to NXT. Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Jake Atlas, 611 viewers, down 51,000, and then the demo was 194,000, down 32,000. So both
were
dropped. I don't know what was on any other show, but I'm surprised that the MGF thing went down.
I think though after a lot of them people saw this promo, I guarantee you going forward more people are going to be tuning into his segments, especially with him leading into a feud.
In the last quarter of AEW, quarter 8, Moxley and Darby Allin versus Brian Cage and Ricky Starks went up, but only 1,000 to 721.
Yeah.
But the demo down 22,000 to 360. And then the last, Finn Balor versus Dexter Lumis versus Timothy Thatcher, up 60,000, 671 viewers. The demo up 36,230. Right. So people tuned in for really tuned in for NXT at that last quarter, the last 15 minutes, right. Slightly more. I mean, they basically kept the same, that less, but that MGF interview going down that much, and I think that's not the biggest drop. It was that quarter 6. It was that last bit of that hour, for that last half hour,
right.
Well, whatever, you know what I'm trying to say, before the last half, whatever. So from 9 to 9:30, really hit hard for. It doesn't. I don't care. I'm confusing myself. Really, draw for NXT. I'm surprised for AEW. I'm surprised about that. And then the main event for NXT went up at up 60,000. So, I mean, right off the bat, like NXT started hot with the viewers,
but then they just.
But then,
they never really recovered a lot of.
They went down to 660. 611 was the lowest.
Yeah.
but at the same time, when they went their lowest, the drop, AEW dropped 2 around the same time, but it looked like either they switched NXT people switch over to AEW but everybody pretty much dropped. That MGF thing really shocked me.
Yeah, I'm not expecting that to be continuing, especially after the freaking master promo that he laid on there. Especially when there's eventually going to be a segment between him and John Moxley, which that is going to be cannot freaking miss.
And we'll see how that breaks. I would be shocked if viewership goes down for those quarterlies. But then again, I'm shocked that it went down that much for him to begin with because it's MGF. So who the hell knows?
Yeah. So we're going to be, as we said, discussing that every Thursday. But also one other piece of news, Matt. And AEW made this official today. They have come to terms with Eddie Kingston, who is now fully signed with the promotion. I loved the signing. The guy, I mean, Matt, just from a talking standpoint, there might not be 3 guys better on strictly talking.
Is the company in the company or in both companies?
Everywhere, everywhere.
Yeah,
just
there.
like yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Like, I mean, like, I have seen his work on Impact. I've seen him with the NWA, and just with his lone performance, he did not give that company any choice. They had to sign him. Just he was the most important thing that came out of that show
last week. Yeah.
And Matt, the one segment I want to see is him versus MJF and just talking. just those two just talking trash back and forth. That is going to be TV masterpiece. I cannot wait for that. But yeah, go.
And I was like, I'm glad to segue out of this and to promote our Thursday show. I'm glad we're doing the Thursday show because now I can sit and watch both and actually listen to people on both shows. Same with you.
Yep.
And with more, I can see a Eddie Kingston. Every time I hear that name, I just think Kofi Kingston. That's why I was laughing.
Well, I can tell you they couldn't be any different. They're buddy. Yeah.
Racist.
God, you just had to bring that
I
up.
did. I'm sorry. It's a joke, people. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, we more in depth than me being like, oh, what happened? How did they do this? What was the context? And you going, well, did they? What happened? Did they do that? Or
yeah, I just figured for the both of us, and I honestly, I had been thinking about this for the last few weeks. I'm like, you know what? I think it's just better if we just freaking wait a full day just so that with the both of us.
I could watch NXT.
Show.
I could watch NXT on Wednesday and maybe AEW the next day before we do the show, so it's fresh and everything. Fresh. I'm not. Plus, when you go back to work, I don't want to cram 4 hours in.
No.
Especially if you go 8 to 10, and then
I'll be doing that. I'll be doing that for sure.
What?
Once some Dynamite's over, I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna go right into NXT.
Maybe I would do it. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But maybe I could do it the next day after, like, come down. So I'm not like, if I don't want to go late. Well, we'll see. But anyways, so that's coming next Thursday. There's gonna be details probably on the Twitter. You can catch that of times and stuff. And again, it's gonna be a live stream here. And then as always, every Saturday, what you're listening to right now.
It's not going to change.
It's not going to change. It's every week at 3. Same spiel with the channel. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. What do you need to do? It really helps out the channel, obviously. So a lot of sports this week. A lot of big news with playoffs starting and MLB season in trouble. So a lot of stuff to talk about there, and
NFL stuff is also picking up
yeah.
as well. So I'm expecting definitely for our podcast to be a little bit longer, and with everything going on with COVID, it's
and then I'm trying to find other news that's important. I've had the Star Wars news recently. There's some news, anything that sticks out, but everything we see is either politics, COVID, sports, and it's like
and some more COVID
and other splattering of news like Star Wars there, Marvel there. I don't, just to name a few. So with that, for John, I'm Matt. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next on Thursday for our wrestling show, and back here Saturdays as always for episode 52 of the Matt and John Make a Podcast. Have a good one.